Where to begin? So I definitely felt this was quite hard for me to finally have the courage to talk about, but it is about my journey of meditation and how it changed my life, and specifically how it helped my, at times, very hard anxiety attacks. So trigger warning, later on I am going to talk about my anxiety attacks, and I just need to tell first off that I'm not a mental health practitioner. This is my own personal journey, but I really hope this helps any of you watching this in any way possible. So let's begin. I first started meditation a few years ago. It was kind of on a whim. I downloaded the app called Headspace, and they have this preset of videos that I did. It was gonna be for beginners, and I'll put the screenshot here, but that's what I followed for a few days, and then I just quit. I was thinking, this has no effect on me whatsoever. I am bored of this already, and it's just a waste of time. And that's what my mindset was about meditation for the next few years. I didn't care about it. My friends would talk about it. I'll just be like, no, it's not for me. Like, I tried it, it didn't work, even though I tried it for a few days. And it was until 2019 that my mental health just went drastically down. So 2019 was a year that I graduated from a master's degree, and I think for me that was a huge accomplishment because it was a really hard degree, let me just say that. And I was a university student for so many years. I went to my bachelor's degree straight to my master's degree, and graduating from that, I just felt so lost. I lost my identity, I lost my self-confidence, and I had this huge anxiety about failure that it just consumed me, and it just made me feel so bad about myself. It really hurt my self-esteem, and that was the kind of slow descent into my mental health and self-esteem. And I didn't realize that until much later, because I think every day we're on autopilot mode, what many of us are. And for me, I don't really think about how I'm thinking usually, because I'm thinking new thoughts every day and every minute of my life. So it's just something that I didn't really figure out until much later. And 2020 was a bad year for everyone, and especially in the beginning for me, because that was when I first had my anxiety attack. And it was when I was watching Netflix and I was watching a history documentary, but somehow that documentary, I know it triggered something horrible in myself. And after a few hours of watching that, I had my first real anxiety attack, and I felt like I was a tiny little ant, like me, and in this huge black hole, and I was just being consumed by it. Like, that's how it felt for me, and it just felt so horrible. I hope nobody goes through that, and if you are right now, I'm so sorry. It is such a horrible experience. But even when I went through that, I was just like, it's okay, I'm fine. Like, I don't need to go through anything right now. Like, I don't need help. And I try to forget about it, I try to move on, but it came, like, that bad feeling that I had, it came every few days, and then eventually almost every day. And having to live through that was so horrible for anyone to go through. And I'm getting emotional, but it was until then that I realized that I can't stop, like, I need to stop living like this. And I finally seek therapy, and I think therapy was really grateful. Like, I'm so grateful for therapy. Let me just say that first of all. I definitely would recommend anyone, whatever state of mind that you are. But my friend recommended me therapy before, but I didn't really think about it. I thought it was taboo. I didn't want to go through it because I felt embarrassed with the process. I was just like, it makes me feel in a way like there's something wrong with me, and I'm not a proper person going through therapy. I know it's such a horrible way of thinking, but that's how I felt. I just felt like if I go through that, I'm admitting to myself that I'm not a good person, or I deserve this somehow. And that's just a silly way of thinking, and that's such a detrimental way of thinking for me, but that's how I felt. So once I went through that, in Australia, we're very lucky to go through something like that, and because we get free therapy sessions, for, like, only a limited amount, but we do get free therapy sessions through Medicare. And then once we went through that, I met my therapist, and honestly, she changed my life. Like, oh my god, my voice is so croaky, but she changed my life for the better. She made me realize, like, my thoughts are not who I am, and she also gave me homework. So my homework that she gave me was going go for long walks, which really helped me mentally. It made me feel refreshed as a person, and meditation. And I was just like, it doesn't work for me. Like I tried it and it doesn't work for me. So she was like, no, you should really try it, at least let me 5 minutes or so. So eventually I was like, okay, let's try it. I respect her so much as a person. She has been such a help for me, my mental state. So I'm gonna go through that. So I did my first meditation. It was, I think, headspace again, so back to my old friend. And also I use calm as well to mix and match things because I get bored easily. So I did those two, and after I realized how much meditation helped me out mentally, I was like, okay, I have to have this incorporated in my daily or regular schedule. And I downloaded the apps Headspace and Calm, which I mentioned before, and those were the two apps I really recommend because they have a lot of guided meditations, but they have a limited amount of free content. So I went on YouTube for them, and wow, silly me, I didn't realize how many free resources there are for guided meditations or meditation resources. Somehow didn't come to my mind. And so I'll do that maybe like 3 or 4 times a week at this stage, maybe 5 times a week. It depends on like every week, but I'll be doing that for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and I don't have a set schedule for it. I wouldn't say I have to do it every morning or every night at this time. I just do it when I feel like it, and I think it makes things more fun. It doesn't make things a chore. For example, if I keep making a rough schedule, personally for me, I know that it was going to make me feel like it's a chore, and even if I know it's going to be good for me in the end, I wouldn't want to do it. Like that's how my mind works sometimes. So it's a way for me to trick my mind to realize that it's great and it would always be great and it'll be a fun thing to do. And so how I see meditation is that I'm in this brightly lit room and I'm visualizing it, and it's me here. So this is like me just sitting down in a chair, and there's me here as well, so we're just sitting down in chairs. So I feel like I'm talking to myself, but in the most loving and unbiased opinion as possible. I know that sounds kind of contradictory, but it makes sense in a way. So I'm just here talking to myself, and I'm just kind of like reframing my mind of things. So I think in a lot of ways my mind, this is how I feel, but my mind lives on autopilot. For example, I'll be scrolling through social media, I wouldn't be processing properly, I'll just like constantly be scrolling, I'll be doing work, and I wouldn't be thinking about anything. I'll be thinking about the future, I'll be thinking about the present, or not really the present, but I'll be thinking about the past, I'll be thinking about random daydreams, and I would never be in the present moment. I'll just be constantly on autopilot. And after I meditated, I realized that my mind can sometimes go through detrimental loops. For example, I would be really mean to myself, and not to myself but to other people as well, and I would be like very judgmental about it. Sometimes I'd be like, oh my gosh, like why am I so silly, why did I do that? And then I'll cringe at like old memories that make no sense to my mental well-being, but I'll constantly be thinking about it for hours in a day almost. And meditation has realized that some of my thoughts can be very, very toxic to my overall well-being. And I think meditation has just helped me out be calm, be present, and also be content in my everyday life. And I know it sounds silly, I know everyone's gonna have different meditations practices and different experiences of meditating, but I really think it's gonna change you for the better. I definitely think it helped me out be just an everyday better person. I think it makes me kind of look at my own past actions and own present actions and be like, hey, is this gonna be good for your self-growth? Is it gonna be great for your self-growth, or is it gonna be detrimental? And I'm definitely still very far from the person that I really want to be, but I know that every time I think these thoughts is propelling me to the right path, and I think that's going to be great for anyone to go through. Because how many times are we just constantly on social media every day for hours on end, sometimes not thinking about anything else but just processing mindless, in a way, content that has no effect on my life whatsoever. Like that's why I try not to watch celebrity gossip, for example Jeffree Star, because like it might be fun right now, but how is it going to be fun in the future? And something that really helps me out, and what meditation had made me realize, is that I should not listen to or read scary things, because that's going to be something that I regret later at night, because I'm addicted in a way almost to scary stories on Reddit. Like I love reading them, and then at night I'm just like in this horrible bad mood. I'm like super anxious, I'm super moody, I'm super like jumpy, and I'm like, why am I feeling this way? And I realized, oh, it's because I read 10 stories in a row about Reddit. So it just doesn't make sense to me then, but now it does. So these are the things that I really would recommend going through, because there's so many things that you learn from meditation, there's so many things they do, and it's now more than ever, because we're constantly on our phones, that meditation has been good for you. Oh my gosh, my throat is so rough. So I think this is gonna be the end of my video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I know this might be a long video. I'm not too sure how long I'll talk for, because it took a few takes. But thank you so much for watching my video. I feel shy now because I went so personal. But thank you so much for watching my video. Hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you later.